This show is brought to you by Manscaped, the world's leader in below-the-waist grooming. AFTV, that was encouraging, wasn't it? 3-0?
Yeah, it's all right. Few goals.
Few goals.
Shots on target.
Shots on target. Forward play, attacking play.
Pepe really good.
Yeah, he was. He's very good. I mean, it was a big game for Pepe, really. Even though it's a Europa League, after what happened at the weekend, he really needed to go out there and put a foot forward and show us what he can do, and he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and it's been a tough week, and he's had a lot of criticism, rightly so, some of it, but there comes a point when you need to just stop. It's done, let it go, and move on. And he had to show the fans, Mikel, his teammates, that the support he's got has been justified. And I know people will sit there and say, "Oh, look who we're playing against. It's a Thursday, all this and that." If Pepe didn't perform tonight, you'd be saying, "Oh, look, he didn't perform against them. He's awful. He's this, he's that." So make your mind up. We know what he's got in his locker. It's about consistently getting that out into his game now. He now needs to sit there for 3 Premier League games and, think about his actions and learn from it. But, he's still got the opportunities of being able to play in these games. So next week against Rapid Vienna, I'm expecting him to play in that. And I'm expecting him to be, the big player, the focal point, the talisman, should we say.
Well, he was tonight, wasn't he?
Yeah, like he was. And that's what we need from players like Pepe, especially when you're spending that kind of money. You want them to go and grab games by the scruff of the neck. And when you've got a lot of youngsters around you, and I know he's relatively young himself, but when you've got the likes of Reece one side, you've got the likes of Joe Willock, Eddie Nketiah, he's got to be the big one, the big player. And today he did. And also mentioning him, Reece Nelson as well, I thought he played really well. I think in the second half, he didn't get much of the ball out on the left-hand side, but first half especially, I thought he was very productive and he looked really good. And the only thing that let him down in that first half was that opportunity that he missed. But he made up for it in the second half.
Got his goal as well, which was well deserved.
He's got an opportunity at the moment because obviously with Pepe out of the Premier League, with Willian 50-50, should we say, there's an opportunity. And even if Willian does come into the side and play, he can at least make the bench. So he could do something off the bench.
I liked his aggressive play today. Maybe there could be a shout for him to make a start, even if Willian's fit.
Yeah, why not? Because Willian's not been pulling up trees.
And this is about seizing the opportunity as a young player, isn't it? Like, these openings may not happen a lot. There's a little opening because of what happened with Pepe, Willian's slight injury. If you get that opening, when you're at a big club like Arsenal, you have to take it. Or that could be it. You might not be back in contention for a year.
Well, you've got to think, he hasn't been in contention for a lot of our games. This is an opportunity for him to at least make the squad. For me, I think he should at least make the squad for the Wolves game. And, if he gets 20 minutes, for example, if he's on the bench, he has to make use of those 20 minutes. He can't just go through the motions and, okay, I've got another tally on my belt of playing for the first team. You've got to go out there and do something that makes Mikel look and go, yeah, you know what? Because the one after them, against Wolves, that's the real big one, because it's the North London derby. So,
it was great to see Balogun on the score sheet. Literally, the first thing he did, he comes off the bench,
touch,
gets a ball, touch, bang, spins, gets the goal. And you can see what it meant, and you can see what the other players were so pleased for him as well. Again, great for morale. Yeah,
it is, and he's a very instinctive striker. If you've seen a lot of his goals that he scores at under 23 level and below that, he's and the way that he touched that ball today, it was he only had one thought process, where he wanted it to go and what he was going to do. And what I liked was there was no hesitancy over it. It was just touch, bang.
It puts a lot of pressure on, let's say, Eddie. Eddie Nketiah, who's ahead of him.
He disappointed me tonight.
Eddie weren't the greatest.
No, look, you don't want to pick out, players and especially young boys that are coming through the academy and stuff. But I think that Eddie's had a lot of chances in the first team now. And he's even started a lot of big games, Premier League games. And it always just feels like something's missing. Do you know what I mean? It's just flatters to deceive sometimes. And again, tonight, he had that really good opportunity. Pepe, brilliant ball. And what's frustrating is that for England under 21s, he would score that with his eyes closed. But yet tonight that looked like his eyes were closed and it just whacked him on the head and went over. And it's just, I don't know why he's, you know,
forcing
scoring for fun.
Maybe he's forcing it.
Maybe.
Play for the under 21s, maybe he's relaxed, he's, you know.
And maybe he knows that he hasn't got many opportunities here.
Yeah, and then like you can see he's so determined to do well that he's probably forcing it. And maybe somebody needs to say to him, yo, just relax, man, and play your game, you know what I mean? But
maybe.
Again, you're under a lot of pressure as a young player because if you come in, literally you come in at Arsenal, you're up front, you don't score, it's people like, I don't want him in the next game. Play such and such. Yeah. You know, that's
and
the
that
pressure.
only adds to the pressure of Balogun coming in because for me, you know, he's not going to be involved in the Wolves game, for example. Balogun won't be. But I think that he should be starting next Thursday against Rapid Vienna. And if he goes and starts that game and bags a couple of goals, it's going to even tougher for Eddie then. So, you know, he's got competition for his place there, most definitely. And Balogun's fighting for a contract, or well, Arsenal fight. I don't know which way round you want to look at it.
Arsenal fighting to keep him.
Yeah. So maybe we need to get that deal done before he does bag a few goals, and then everyone will be on his case. And,
sign the team.
Yeah. So it'll be all that again. But
positives though. Positives in
positives.
In a couple of weekends of pure negatives.
Yeah.
A bit of positive.
It is nice.
Now they've got to carry that through into the weekend. It's Wolves. Yeah. That's going to be a very tough game.
Very tough.
But we need to carry this and the attacking intent of the players tonight. That needs to be carried into, you know, carried into the weekend.
Now, it'd be very interesting to see how Wolves set up because they are a very attack-minded side, but at the same time
But I'd say they're very counter-attacking team.
Yeah, what I would mean is that when they've come to the Emirates over the last couple of years, they've actually put in really good performances and we've struggled. So we know what to expect.
And we've not been playing well at the Emirates.
No, we definitely haven't been playing well at the Emirates, have we? So I kind of look at it and think that we need to dig out a real big performance like we did when we went to Molde last season, because that was one of our top performances last year. So again, we need to, I think an early goal would really settle things down, because I think that despite there not being fans in the stadium, I think there's that still sense of, like when it's the time's ticking on and you're not scoring a goal, you kind of, players are starting to panic because they feel they're running out of time, and it's, you know, it could only be worse if the fans were in the stadium. But, you know, I think an early goal in the opening 15 minutes would actually really settle things down and actually open the game more in our favour. We have to win because, you know, the funny thing about everything is that despite our poor performances, despite us doing so badly, we're not a million miles away from the places we want to be in terms of the top four. You know, we're a million miles away from the way Chelsea are playing at the moment. But in terms of points, we're not. We're 5. They've got Spurs at the weekend. So one of them's going to drop points or both. So it's an opportunity to creep along again, especially when we've got Spurs a week later. Because North London derby, we already know what happens in that. It's a tough game, isn't it? No matter what kind of form you go into. But yeah, it's good to get a win. Nice to know that we can, you know, see a few goals for November's Goal of the Month competition and not just like Aubameyang's penalty. But overall, I thought, yeah, there was some decent performances. People will laugh and say it's Thursdays, but they would laugh if we lose. Listen, look, they're putting the cheese and the graters away tonight. And yeah, none of that. We don't need to set no traps or anything else, because they'll just be nicely tucked away for the evening. But they'll be ready to pounce again if we lose on Sunday. But we need to just take this confidence in there, keep our heads up, keep smiling, and we go again.
Robbie here from AFTV. We just got to say a big thank you to everybody who follows us across our various channels. Over 1 million followers on YouTube. Don't forget, you can now also catch us on Reddit. We're on Reddit, so get involved with us on Reddit and also on TikTok. Keep it AFTV, baby, right here.